One of the things we're very happy to do in the ADHO, the Alliance of Digital Humanities Organizations, is to present prizes to the best researchers, and we have an awards committee that's charged with this. They'd like to make some awards right now, and on behalf of that committee, I'd like to invite Mark Algee-Hewitt of Stanford and Elena González-Blanco García of Madrid to make these presentations, first to the students, and then I will not reintroduce the awards committee represented by Elena a second time to announce the winner of the Busa Award, but I'll just let her continue.
Thank you so much. To start off with, I want to say that after a fairly exhausting but rewarding week, I am and I remain particularly excited to work with the awards committee on nominating and selecting and now presenting the winner of the Paul Fortier Prize. And I say this for two reasons. First, and most obviously, it's given me the unique opportunity to become intimately acquainted with 5 outstanding papers and 6 incredibly important new voices for the future of our discipline. And that has been a privilege, certainly on my part, and certainly I think anyone who participated in this process would say it was a privilege on their part as well. But secondly, and equally as importantly, and I say this as a relatively recently new scholar myself, what this process reminded me of, I think more forcibly than I was expecting, was that despite the many, many challenges our community faces, particularly at this juncture, I think we stand to some degree unique, certainly in my experience among the professional and academic organizations in which I've been involved. We stand unique in our willingness to listen to promote, to engage with, and to support the voices of the youngest and newest members of our community. And I think that's important because I think in many ways, and I hope it might provide a starting point, only a starting point, but maybe possibly a starting point nonetheless, for the longer conversation that we need to have about ways to open up our community to all voices and all participants. I also want to thank, first and foremost, because they did probably more of the work than I certainly did, the legions of anonymous volunteers who went to all of the nominees' panels and who so diligently reported on everything they saw and heard and made our job at the awards committee much, much easier. I realize I now owe all of you a debt I'll never be able to repay, but I promise that I will do my best. It gives me great pleasure to say that all 5 papers were certainly outstanding, but the winning paper, stood apart in its ability to synthesize and, in fact, its command of the many different discourses that make up the area in which we study, the digital humanities, all of the facets of the big tent, not just methodological or technical, but critical and metacritical as well. In fact, it not only spoke about history, but spoke to history, spoke to the ways in which we study history, and leveraged the new methodologies that our discipline offers towards answering an incredibly important and pertinent question of recent social history. And for all these reasons, it gives me incredible amounts of pleasure to present the 2015 Paul Fortier Prize to Mickey Kaufman. You certainly may.
Oh, I don't know what to say. I didn't prepare to say anything. I was sitting in the very back of the room, ready to congratulate my colleagues, who I fully expected, all of whom, to win rather than me. What an honor. What a tremendous acknowledgement, a sense of belonging, a sense of potential, a sense of what lies ahead manifested in what little has been done thus far. I'm extraordinarily grateful. I'm extraordinarily enthusiastic for our shared mission of DH and what it means. I'm gratified to be a part of your community, and as a new and emerging scholar, I think the definition of the word young may be somewhat flexible in this award. But as a new member of the community, I am thrilled and deeply gratified. Thank you.
In representation of the ADHO Standing Committee of Awards, it's a pleasure for me to announce the poster prizes. There are 2 new awards this year in this category, thanks to the generosity of our Australian colleagues The first is the Anthem Prize, which will be awarded to the best poster DH2015 and will get $500 paid by the Anthem Press Publishing Company. The winner poster for this category is devoted to gender issues. It is number 13, Who's Talking in Edwardsworth Novels by Michael Greg Falk from the University of Kent at United Kingdom. Congratulations.
I'm very happy to receive this award. Thank you so much. Having heard about everyone's fabulous big data projects with corpuses of hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of texts and documents, I'm glad that my network analysis of 6 novels by one person raised some interesting issues for everybody and that you enjoyed at least the look of it. Thank you very much.
The second poster prize is sponsored by CAA, Computer Application and Quantitative Method in Archaeology, an international organization that we will award a prize of $250 to the best poster on a topic directly relevant to archaeology, history, cultural heritage, museums, and culture. The winner poster in this category is number 32, City of Iraq 3000 BC, using genetic algorithm, dynamic planning, and crowd stimulation to reenact everyday life of ancient Sumerians, by Thomas Trexack, Melissa Williams, Terry Sloan, Anton Bodjanovic, and Simeon Sorf from the University of Western Sydney, Australia. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for this award. I'm really glad that also the digital part of the Digital Humanities got really very nicely acknowledged. And I just want to thank the whole team, led by Melissa Williams and Simeon Simov, that made this award come true. Thank you very much.
In the name of the ADHO Standing Committee of Awards, it's for me an honor to announce the name of the winner of the Busa Award, which will be awarded in Kraków at 2016 by Hugh, the chair of this year's Busa's Prize Committee, who's not been able to be here today. This prize is given by the Alliance of Digital Humanities organizations to recognize a researcher's outstanding lifetime achievements in the application of information and communication technologies to humanities research. The award is given every 3 years, and this conference is the place where the winner is going to be announced. Before letting you know the name of the awardee, I would love to remark that it has been a very difficult decision for the committee, as the nominees showed an impressive career in the field of digital humanities that has made us really difficult to choose. The winner profile is perhaps not one of the most known in digital humanities international community, but the facts show that her works have been crucial for the creation of many of the most important DH projects. So let me announce the name of Helen Aguera. Helen Aguera has been Senior Program Officer at the National Endowment for the Humanities for many years, most of them in the Division of Preservation and Access. She is responsible for many of the digital scholarly projects that National Endowment for Humanities supported over the years, like the Text Encoding Initiative, and she was responsible of the completion of many projects in the different fields of the age, like history, art, literature, linguistics, classics, or philology. Before the creation of the Office of Digital Humanities, Helen worked hard to raise the amount of projects that resulted later, developing an amazing work. In addition, I would love to remark, in relation to the words that we have heard on this stage in the last 3 days, that of the 7 recipients of this award to date, this is the second woman to receive the prize. So, congratulations to the winner.
So in order to announce some upcoming events and to, I hope, give you some excitement even at the end of this tiring week, I'd like to present Claire Clivaz, who's the chair of the Conference Coordinating Committee. Very important position in our organization because it's probably the most important activity that we conduct. Claire of Lausanne.
So it's a great pleasure now to announce to you our next DH meeting. First of all, DH 2016 with Manfred Thaler as PC chair and Maciej Eder, who now presents to us the DH 2016 in Kraków.
Thank you very much. And well, Kraków. Kraków is a very, very medieval city, dating back to the 10th century at least. And in this very, very medieval city, we've got a very medieval university, which is founded in 1363 or 64, depending on which documents we rely on. And this university is the oldest one in Poland and one of the oldest universities in the world. And we've got a lot of interesting students we are proud of, but I would like to say about two of them in principle. One of them being the founder of modern astronomy, Copernicus, while the other founder of stylometry, Lutosławski, the guy who did stylometry in the pre-digital era, so a pre-digital humanist, so to say. But Kraków is not only known for his very, very old university. There's also some other universities, among them probably the most important being the Pedagogical University, which is not very high ranked, but it has become a hub of digital humanities initiatives, and it is a facto hub for DH initiatives in Poland right now. It is doing very, very good stuff there. So those two universities has established quite a good collaboration in the field of DH. I should mention probably a computational stylistics group, which is the first, but not the only one collaboration in the field of DH between those two universities. And one of the initiatives was to organize a Digital Humanities conference in 2016. And let me just tell you about some facts, numbers, and other things that we think might be important. So first of all, the theme of the conference is digital identities, the past and the future. This partly because one of the universities is looking back to the past while the other is trying to look to the future, but it's not explaining everything here. So digital identities, the past and the future. Save the date. The conference will take place on July the 11th till the 16th. The 16th is Saturday and excursions. The main part of the conference will take place on July 11th to July the 15th. Quite an important date for you. Submissions deadline, November the 1st. Try to remember about that day. We are expecting crowds of people out there. We are going to host at least 850 people, but if you tell your friends that there is an interesting event in Kraków going on, and if they submit valuable papers or posters, if worst comes to worst, we are ready to host up to 1,200 people. The same applies to the number of parallel tracks. We would rather keep the number not too big, but again, when worst comes to worst, we're ready to organize 14 or 15 parallel tracks. And about 20 workshops, plus a few pre-conference bigger events or micro-conferences. We have already pre-booked 800 hotel rooms. And, well, of course, we provide lunches. The conference will be fully catered. This is Auditorium Maximum, or the main venue of the conference, where the main plenary hall will be. This is from the outside, and that's from the inside, and this is Jan Rybicki waiting for you. This is the building of adjacent building of the Pedagogical University, where most of the workshops will take place. And well, if you are fed up with DH, if you think that enough is enough, There's also Kraków. There's also Kraków per se, which is worth investing a while. So go sightseeing. There is a royal castle, which is the first royal castle in Poland, known especially for its Renaissance courtyard. You can also climb up the tallest tower in the old town, or you can just relax and stroll down the streets of the old town. If you still want more, join us for the excursions. We've organized 2 of them at least. One of them being the excursion to a medieval 13th century salt mine in the adjacent town Wieliczka, which that's an amazing place. And well, this is a church which inside, underneath the surface, and you can actually lick the walls, but not too much. Alternatively, if you're afraid of salt mines, then you can join us for the excursion for rafting. It's not really rafting. It's a very smooth movement downstream. These are those very tiny dots are the rafts. You can be on one of them if you want to join us. So please tell your friends that there is an interesting event in Kraków. Please submit valuable papers and posters and so on. Please come to Kraków. We are waiting for you. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, dear Maciej. On the Sunday, 28th of June, the ADHO Steering Committee has chosen the 2 next destinations because from this year, we will choose in 3 years in advance our destinations. And for the DH 2017, it's Montreal who has been chosen with as PC chair Diane Jakacki and as organizer Stéphane Sinclair and Michael Sinatra. The floor is yours, Stéphane.
My name is Susan Brown. I'm the president of the Canadian Society for Digital Humanities, La Société Canadienne des Humanités Numériques. It will be our pleasure to be your host organization for DH 2017. I would like to say we have a long-standing and rich history of digital humanities work in Canada. In 2015 alone, to just mention a few of the higher profile events, we had the Digital Diversity Conference in May. We had Around the World with DH. We had the joint ACH Citizen, that is how you can pronounce CSDH SCHN, the joint ACH Citizen Conference at Congress in Ottawa. And coming up, if you're not sure whether you can get by without more digital humanities this summer, we have from August 11th to 13th in Montreal, Humanités numériques 2015, Identité, pratique et théorie. Without further ado, I'd like to pass the mic over to Diane Jakacki, who I would note is going to be the 4th of 5 consecutive program chairs for ADHO conferences, who is a woman.
Hi, we didn't get like march up music, did we? Okay, so I'd like to welcome you to DH 2017 in Montreal, which will be August 1st through 4th, 2017 at McGill and Université de Montréal. The theme of the conference is Access or Accès. The idea behind the theme has to do with the relatively easy travel to and around Montreal, but also ideas of open access and accessibility, access to the DH community, and even the idea for virtual forms of presentation, which will be a part of the CFP in fall 2016. Montreal is the second largest city in Canada, the world's #2 francophone city, a capital of culture that also offers amazing shopping, and that's a shout out to Susan, and wonderful restaurants. The city is known for its beautiful cultural attractions and for its fantastic festivals, many of which will be taking place during the summer months. Montreal is a family-friendly city that offers many activities for children. The DH Maker Bus will also be on hand during the conference in order for young DHers to take part in the festivities. The ADHO host organization of DH 2017 is Citizen. The local organizations of the conference are Stéphane Sinclair of McGill University and Michael Sinatra of l'Université de Montréal, and then there's me. But one more thing in closing. We know that access means something to each of us in the collective digital humanities community. And as we move ahead with planning for DH 2017, we will listen to and discuss with many of you issues to do with inclusivity, diversity, and accessibility. And so I encourage you to continue using the hashtag #WhatIfDH2017, which, knowing this group, I fully expect will have been tweeted out before I say we'll see you soon in Montreal. Thank you.
And finally, I ask to Ernesto and Alberto just to join me on the scene and to ask you to applaud our destination for the DH 2018, since we will go to Mexico. So congratulations and greetings to Igalina, and we will enjoy next year your presentation of the meeting. And so last but not least, be prepared for the next open contest for the DH 2019 that should be in Europe. So we are waiting for a good and enthusiastic European candidature for the DH 2018. And I will conclude, of course, with my huge congratulations, as is one of all our conference coordination committee, to our present guests, Paul Arthur, and our PC chair, Deb Verhoeven, for this great, amazing DH 2015 meeting. Thank you.
So the final event on our agenda for the closing has to do with hearing from the program chair and also from the local organizer for this conference 2015 here at the University of Western Sydney. As the chair of the steering committee of ADHO, I want to make it very clear that we appreciate their work enormously. Both of them have been tireless and creative and sometimes rather insistent about how they wanted to do things, sometimes even well, no, not just you. Yeah, but also you, yeah. So I must admit we have found a DH agitator during the course of this conference, and I've always been a fan of agitators. I come from the city of Wendell Phillips, the famous American abolitionist agitator, and their role, I think, in organizations is very important. But let me be a bit personal. Both of them were not awfully well known in this community, certainly say 5 years ago or more, but they really wanted to get digital humanities going. That's why they convinced the steering committee, I guess 2 years ago, that the conference ought to be here. They did that by by marshaling an awful lot of energy, showing that this conference would be a success. And they continued showing us that in fantastic organization, not just of the conference itself, but also of the program. I would really like to ask you to applaud these two people especially for all their work.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, John, for those kind words and everyone here. And also, I'd like to congratulate the future conference organisers. I'm going to really enjoy going to a conference that I haven't organised in the next few years. It's going to be fantastic. But this has also been a great pleasure. I've enjoyed it, which is a great sign. I'd like to thank once more our major sponsors, the State Library of New South Wales, Gale, Cengage Learning and ProQuest, and of course all the others who have been vital to the success of this event, including the University of Western Sydney. And I'd especially like to thank our local organising committee, made up of more than 30 people from the University of Western Sydney and also from other institutions who have been identified with yellow badges and have been so helpful during this event. Can I just thank them? I'd also like to highlight the work of Conference Director Jason Enzor for his remarkable work. It wouldn't be possible without him, so thank you, Jason. Thank you. And of course to all our delegates who have come to this conference and the ADHO worldwide community that make this such a vibrant field and organisation, I thank you. But there's somebody that deserves very special attention. She's my partner in crime here, Deb Verhoeven. And Deb, I'd like to give you a gift from the University of Western Sydney. That's not alcohol. It's got something in it. So, Deb, wonderful.
Oh. Paul, I probably need another 5 or 6 of these.
Okay, okay, well, I'll take that. I'm very proud that the organisation of this conference has been, I think, really professional, and I've had some positive comments from people about it. But the team who are behind that are conference design, and leading that group is the conference manager, Anna Boys, who I'd like to come up to the stage if she's around here somewhere, please. But also her colleagues, Jen and Taylor. Please, come, I can see you there, you must come. These are the wonderful people at the front of the conference house who have been making this a great success. So that's those concluding remarks from me, and now I'm going to hand over to Deb.
Which just about gives me the last word, which is a very, very dangerous thing. No. Are we sad to leave Sydney? Yes. That's because you're not going to Melbourne. It's been a pretty unforgettable conference, certainly for me. I'll probably never forget this conference. But it has been pretty spectacular, and it's made so by a massive community of effort. I know we've had a kind of number of individuals standing up here. The unsung heroes of the conference are the 371 different reviewers who reviewed the 426 submissions. So we have an enormous community effort that sits underneath the engine room of this particular conference. And it's a community effort built on enormous amounts of trust. And that trust continues from one conference to the next. And if it doesn't, we're all in trouble. So I really want to stand up here right now and thank all of you, who I assume most of you in this room will have had a hand in preparing this conference in one way or another. Thank you so much. You've made this a really, really pleasurable exercise. Thank you. There's been some discussion. I won't give a full report on the programming committee and its efforts, because a lot of really interesting analysis has actually been done by Scott Weingart, and I recommend you to go and have a look at his blog. Scott's doing some really interesting longitudinal analysis across the conferences from one year to the next, and I'd like to see that effort supported, and I'd like to give him a bit of a shout out. So at ScottBot, check that out. If you have got any suggestions for how you think the program can be improved, can you please ping me? I'd be very interested to read your impressions or your opinions. I do put a report into ADHO, and I'd be really happy to incorporate suggestions into my report. So if you could just let me know one way or another in the next week or so, that would be great. All right, so getting on to the kind of more specific thank yous. The program committee for this year's conference was exceptional, just extraordinary, absolutely brilliant to work with. We had a strong consultative style. People were entitled and encouraged to have opinions. Those opinions were honoured and respected. And as I said, enormous amounts of trust were built up. And it's a real shame that that program committee, in a sense, only exists for one conference and then disappears. But I absolutely want to thank you guys, those of you who are left. I'm going to ask you to stand up if you are. Sorry about that. So Manfred couldn't be here, my deputy. Jeremy, Brian, Karina, Ovind, Jay, Diane, Kianori, Sally, Tim, Stefan, James, Tomoji, the wonderful efforts. Thank you, James, over there, standing up. Ovind, thank you. Very good. Thank you, guys. Please. Thank you. You guys were brilliant, and thank you so much. We were really, really assisted by Melissa Terrace, who was the outgoing chair from the previous year. Melissa helped me enormously, guided me, prompted me, dragged me, sometimes kicking and screaming, into the organisation of this year's event. Melissa, I really, really, really want to say thank you to you. Working with Paul and Jason was an absolute breeze. They were so organised, they were responsive when they needed to be, even though we're not supposed to really consort. They did actually respond very quickly when there were genuine questions that needed to be answered quickly. So thank you, and thank you to your team, Paul. They were brilliant. I want to particularly single out my program assistant, who was provided with some funding from ADHO for the first time. This is an experiment that needs to be repeated year on, year out. Alwyn Davidson was, not just my right hand, my left hand, both legs, and pretty much any kind of movable part in the conference, she was all over it. She was fantastic. She's not here right now, but in her absence, I really want to give her a round of applause. And could someone tweet that so there's evidence? Thanks. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say. I did, when I spoke the other day, ask you if you'd ever heard an Australian say g'day or g'day mate. And some of you reckon you have, which I just still am in complete disbelief about. Now, we also have a phrase for saying goodbye. Does anyone know what it is? Not see you later. I mean, we just say see you later. My poor Dutch grandparents, when they first came to Australia, someone said see you later, so they sat up till 1 in the morning waiting. No, not see you later. It's a ripper. It goes like this. Uru. Uru. Yeah, it's hard to say. Uru. On our behalf, Uru. Have a great time. You'll never hear someone else say that, by the way. It's been wonderful having you all here. It's been, as I said, an unforgettable experience, and I hope you carry it back with you to wherever you're going. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and safe travels wherever you're going, back to your 33 countries from around the world. Have a very safe trip. Bye-bye.